Copilot for Microsoft 365 is an impressive AI tool, but how is it used in the real world? Well, it doesn't get more real than this guy. We're going to explore how Santa might use Microsoft Copilot for 365 to help him run his operations in the North Pole. Quick introduction, my name is Matt and I run a company called Labyrinth Technology. We help empower businesses with their IT and cybersecurity. You can find a link to my LinkedIn profile in the video description. Now, Santa probably has hundreds, if not thousands, of elves working for him. Now, I don't think my staff would appreciate me calling them elves, but I'm going to use Microsoft Copilot through Microsoft Teams to show how we can look at some of the work that the team have been doing over the last year. So I've opened up Microsoft Copilot in Teams, and I am going to ask it what major projects have we worked on this year? What major projects have we worked on this year, and who at Labyrinth Technology has been involved? There we go. So it's taking a look through my Teams, my emails, SharePoint files, and team meetings that I've had, and looking at what projects we have worked on this year, who has perhaps been involved in those projects. So let's see what it comes up with. It's not going to show absolutely everything. We work on tons of projects. It's going to pick out what it thinks are the key things that we have worked on. So we've got 13 points here about some of the projects we've run this year. And we've got at the bottom here these different references in terms of where it has actually got that data from, what files, what emails. And if I click on these, it's going to take me straight to that source of information. So that's helped me reflect on the year without having to go through loads of emails, teams, and projects. Now, if I'm not quite happy with that, or I feel like it's missed out on a particular project, I can ask it, what about this project? Can you add some information there? But you can also see we've got these prompts at the bottom here where I can ask it to provide more details about some of these projects or status of some of these projects, or in fact, who was actually involved in that project. So that's great. You'll notice at the top here, we've got this toggle work or web. So the work option is going to use data from your Microsoft 365 environment, and the web option is only going to use data that has come from the internet. So it's not going to use your own data. This slide is taken from one of our Microsoft Copilot training decks. Importantly, when you're asking Copilot to provide you with information, you need to give it enough context and information on what you're actually expecting it to do, because the more information that you provide to Copilot, the better the response that you're going to get back out of it. So it's good to remember the GCSE framework, which is goal, context, source, and expectations. So the goal is, what do you want Copilot to do? So at the bottom here, we've got generate a list of actions from John Smith. So that's what I want it to do. But the context, why do you need it? What's it for? So to help me prepare for my next meeting. And the source, where are you going to get that data from? Do you want it to look everywhere in Microsoft 365, or do I just want it to use data from my emails? So if you do want it to look everywhere in Microsoft 365, then you don't need to specify the source. And then expectations. So what kind of format do you want that response in? Do I want a 2-page document? Do I want huge paragraphs of text, or do I just want some concise bullet points? So do try and remember that when you're asking Copilot to generate something for you. The reality is that most of Santa's elves have worked really hard this year, and we want to thank all of them for their hard work. So I'm going to go into Microsoft Outlook and compose a new email, and I'm going to get Copilot to get me started with that email, because I really don't know what to write or where to even start with this. So I'm going to press the Copilot button at the top there and click Draft with Copilot, and I'm going to say, draft me an email to thank my staff for all of their hard work this year. So that's my goal. The context is I'm reflecting on, because I am reflecting on all of the hard work we have done this year. So that's my goal, that's my context. In terms of the source, I don't really need it to reference any information. I'm just trying to send an email here. I'm not asking it to look at any particular work that we have done this year. And the expectations are I'd like the email to be long, detailed and friendly, because all of my staff or elves have put in a lot of work this year, and I want to put in a bit of work to this email to show them my appreciation. Make the email long and friendly. So let's click generate and see what it comes up with. Okay, creating a draft. There we go. Perfect. So as this year draws to a close, I find myself reflecting on all the incredible work we've accomplished together. I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your unwavering dedication, commitment, and hard work. There we go. So this is actually really good. I'm going to still, my staff have put in a lot of work this year. I'm still going to take the time to look, and does this email actually make sense? Does it, accurately reflect on what I wanted to convey? Let's say I'm not quite happy with the tone of this. I can either type in the bottom here what I would like to be changed and say make it more friendly or make it more formal, or I can and then click regenerate, or I can click this adjust button and use some of these pre-built prompts to change the tone of my language. So make it longer, shorter, more formal. This one's interesting. Make it a poem. Surprising to see that one as one of the top prompts here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a project plan on how I'm going to travel around the world and deliver presents to all of the different countries. So I'm going to get Copilot in Microsoft Word to help me do that. So you've got two options to launch Copilot in Word. You've got the Copilot button, or as it says here, you can press and hold down the Alt and I key. And what that does is it will actually generate the content straight into the Word document. And the benefit of doing that rather than using the Copilot button here is it will actually properly format it with headers and subheadings, etc. Whereas if you press the Copilot button here, it won't insert it straight into the document. What it's going to do is it's going to give you that content for you to copy and paste into the document, and you're going to have to format it yourself. So I would definitely, if you're creating content in here, use the draft with Copilot option by doing Alt and I. So I would like a project plan on how to travel around the world and visit every country to drop off presents. The context is that I'm Santa because I am Santa Claus. I don't want it to use any particular source information. I probably want this to find some information from the web, because I don't have any files that explain how I can get around the whole world in one night. Very difficult job for anyone, really. And I would like this to be a detailed project plan. Make this a detailed project plan. So that's my expectation. I would like a detailed project plan. If I had some particular file I'd like it to reference, maybe I've got some previous travel plans that someone has sent me, I can click reference a file, but I'm just going to click generate in this case. I'd like it to inspire me. Here we go. So this is what it's come up with. So we've got project introduction, project scope, timeline, objectives. And then we were talking about different phases: delivery, post-delivery review, logistics management, risk management, and conclusion. So this is actually fantastic. Now this isn't necessarily going to be my finished project plan. I need to spend some time looking at what Copilot's come up with, sense checking it. Maybe I'm going to make some changes because there's a certain way that I would like this project to be run. But this has dealt with that blank page syndrome. It's saved me a couple of hours in getting started and understanding the best way to actually present this project plan. So you could use this to create any kind of project plan. If you're not working at the North Pole, maybe not this one. But if I'm not happy with this, I can type in here that I'd like it to be more detailed. So let's say make it more detailed. See what that comes up with. That has now completed. That actually took a couple of minutes to run. I fast forwarded the video, but we've now got a 5-page project plan, which is a lot more detailed. So let's work with that. I'm going to click keep it because I'm happy with that, and then I'm going to save it. Okay, so now I would like to maybe create a PowerPoint presentation to present this to the reindeer and explain what the project plan is for traveling around the world this evening. Okay, so in Microsoft PowerPoint, you have this Copilot button at the top, and we've got some prompts here: create a presentation from a file. Now, when you've just created a Word file and saved it in OneDrive or SharePoint, it can actually take 10-15 minutes or so for it for Copilot in PowerPoint to recognize that file, which can be a bit of a pain. So I did create a file earlier, about 15-20 minutes ago actually, to prepare for this. So let's click create a presentation from file, and we've got the ultimate Santa Claus travel plan. So I'm going to click on that and press enter. So there we go. So that has now created me 19 slides with some different festive pictures, walking through the different stages, including the sleigh preparation, gift organization, and our travel plans with the sleigh. So this is quite brilliant actually, what this has come out with and how it's presented it. It's not, again, with everything with Copilot that you generate, it's not necessarily going to be the finished product. It's easily going to save you an hour or two in getting started. You're still going to need to go through here and make some changes. But actually, I think this is probably most of the way there for this particular objective. Let's say Santa wants to create a PowerPoint presentation and he doesn't have any particular file to reference. Maybe he's not happy with how the elves have been making Jack-in-the-Boxes, and he would like a PowerPoint presentation on how to make a Jack-in-the-Box. So I'm going to ask it, create a presentation on how to make a Jack-in-the-Box toy. The context is this is Santa. This is a presentation Santa is presenting to his elves. Source of information, I'm just going to let it use the web, so I'm not going to mention that. And the expectation is I would like an easy to understand presentation with bullet point steps and images to illustrate the process. Okay, let's see what that comes out with. There we go. I've got a very funny picture on the front there. And here is my slide talking about introduction, the materials that we're going to need, and different steps for what we need to do with some nice images. Some of them might need changing there. I've got a mouse trap there, so it's not quite the right picture. But again, this is always a starting point, and you're going to need to just tweak it until it's right for you. But this looks pretty good, actually. So yeah, there we go. Let's take a look at how Santa might use Microsoft Excel. So I've got this document which has a naughty or nice list figures for 5 different countries. So we've got the naughty list, the nice list, and on the fence. Now, the first thing you need to do when you're working with a data table in Excel for Copilot is actually define it as a data table. So the fact I've got grid lines around this does not mean it's a table. It looks like a table, but it's not actually defined as a table, and Copilot will not properly recognize this data. So I need to select that table, and I need to go to Insert, and I need to click on Table. There we go. So that's the correct data source. And I want to tick that this table has headers because I've got these headers on the top and the side here. So let's click OK. And that has now defined my data table. So if we go and click on the Copilot button, we're going to get a few prompts here, like show data insights or show a suggestion for a formula column. So we could probably do with some more totals here. So let's click show a suggestion for a formula column and see what that comes up with. Here we go. So show me the formula that it's using. And here's my option to insert the total population. So let's click on insert column. So that's actually counted the total population on the naughty list and the total number of people on the nice list and on the fence across these rows here. Let's say I want to see some data insights now. So let's click show data insights. And this is what it's come up with. We've got a total population by column 1. Not the best one actually. I'm going to click, can I see another insight? We've got country 5 accounts for the majority of the total population. So let's add that to a new sheet. And let's see what other insights we've got. Can I see another insight? Can I see another insight? Okay, I'm now just going to click add all insights to a grid. And this is going to create a kind of dashboard here. It's not the best data source for insights actually, but yeah, this has created a nice little dashboard for me with a few different insights. Another great thing you can do is get it to create a conditional formatting rule for you, which you can do manually by clicking this button, but it can be a bit fiddly to get right. So it's much easier just to type in here and explain what you're looking to achieve. So create me a conditional formatting rule where in the nice list, in fact, let's go for the start with the naughty list, where in the naughty list row, any values of more than, what kind of date values have we got in there? Let's say more than 500,000 are highlighted in red, values of less than 500,000 are highlighted in green. Let's see what that comes up with. Now, this is one issue we've got there is different countries have got different populations. So maybe we want to actually ask it to work out the percentage of people that are on the naughty and nice list based on the overall population of the country, and then apply conditional formatting based on those percentages. But I'm just going to keep things simple for this demonstration, and let's go with that. Okay, there we go. So that has worked, and I could add some different formula or formatting rules for my nice list columns there. Yeah, there's a whole load of different things you can do with formatting in Excel using Microsoft Copilot. The final thing I'm going to show you is one of my favorites, and that's Copilot agents for SharePoint. So I've got this folder called Santa here, and I would like to let's take a look at what I've got in there. I've got a file about Santa's naughty and nice list policy. Maybe you've got a whole load of different files with different documentation in there. So the first thing I'll point out is you want to just make sure that you don't have any old or archived data in this folder, because otherwise Copilot is going to reference it. So archive that out or delete it if you don't need it anymore. So if I click on Santa folder and I click the 3 dots, more actions button here, and then click create an agent, that has now created this Santa agent, which I'm going to click on open. And now I can ask it any question based on the information that's in that folder. So it's only going to use that folder as the information source. So let's ask it, how does someone get off the naughty list? Here we go. So it's giving me my reference file there. So according to the Santa naughty nice list policy, so I can click on that reference to actually open the file and look in more detail. So if you've got hundreds or thousands of files in that folder, that can really save you some time going through them all. In this case, I've only got one file, so it's not the best example, but it has told me exactly how I would get off the naughty list. And ask, is there anything else that I would like to know? So, let's say you had a whole knowledge base in your SharePoint, or a whole load of previous project proposals or project plans that you've worked on, or terms and conditions. You can use this to ask anything across all of those files using this SharePoint Copilot agent. So really powerful tool. Thank you for watching. If you found this content useful, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to talk to me about your Copilot deployment and how we can help you adopt Copilot for Microsoft 365 in your business, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn.